What up, familia? It's your favorite Puerto Rican, Brooklyn, Philly, and I'm back with another message. This message is going to be centered on a dream that I had. I'm going to explain the dream briefly, and then I'm going to pull cards asking spirit, my ancestors, and my guides the significance or what messages do they want us to ascertain from the dream that I had. All of a sudden, my nose just got real stuffy, messing with my airways, my breathing, which was not happening prior to hitting the record button. I'm going to just ring the bell. So if you have headphones on, turn it down, be mindful. I just want to clear the air, even though I prayed already, but I just want to clear the energy. Ready? I heard 2 more times. Last one. Okay, let's jump right in. Spirit. So the dream was literally that I was in a household environment around family, it seemed. And as I was walking through, my peripheral caught the glimpse of an insect that seemed to be landing onto an armchair, or one of the, not a chair. It was a flying insect. Initially, right, I'm a little alarmed by it. An insect. But when I looked closer, it then jumped onto what seemed to be next to, since it was like in a corner, a spider web. I initially called my younger nieces, the children of my younger nieces and nephews, who are pretty young, right? They're like in their 4, 5, between the ages of 4 and 7, each of them now. And I wanted them to see, ooh, look at the insect that just landed and then jumped into the spider web. I'm thinking initially, this is I guess a teaching moment to show them how the bug gets trapped in the web. And then I'm thinking, I saw then a smaller spider on it. So I'm thinking this bug now, this insect is going to become the prey for this smaller spider. However, the script flips. The winged, what seemed to be this flying insect that seemed to then jump onto this web, was transformed into a spider, a larger spider, and then very instinctively, I heard, but very swiftly went right in. Now I'm hearing it parachuted in, kind of like the way in an army or in a war, or I'm hearing paratroopers would just come in on parachutes and then automatically unlock the parachutes and go in and just start gunning there. I don't know why this is turning so violent. Anyway, that larger spider went specifically to the, like, it didn't hold itself back. It was very calculated. It knew exactly, like, if it knew that it was going to land there, that it knew that it was coming to take over the web that this other spider had built, which is interesting because I first thought that maybe this was their web, and they were coming home or whatever. But no, it came right in, and in one bite, one consumption, ate the other spider, which was a little alarming for me, right? Because I had brung my little 4 to 7-year-old at the time, right? But then I wake up, or not sure if I woke up at that specific moment, but that's where that dream ended for me. And that's what I'm asking spirit about, right? Because I'm hearing a plan to take over, right? But initially, when I was listening to, or trying to like replay the dream, what I found interesting was that the spider who built the web, who thought the web is to catch prey, the prey that it would initially have caught that it would initially eat, right, turned out to be the prey that wound up eating it. So there was like I'm hearing a switcheroo, a flip in the script, right? It's because, right, that's why, I'm not sure if that's the only reason why spiders build webs, but that is one of the reasons, right? That's how they catch their prey and eat, right? But the prey and then what makes it so significant, look, exploitation. I didn't even see that. I'm busy talking. Exploitation, others having power over you due to what they know, suffering from exploitative labor practices. Yeah, this is something about, but there's a flipperoo. I don't say that. Where did that come up? There. It turns out to, anyway, let's keep shuffling. Because what I found very intriguing is that, one, that the prey jumped on, the quote unquote prey that turned out to be, and that's another thing. It's like, trust me, it's manipulation that turned out to be a bigger spider, right? So it looked as prey first. So there's something about people underestimating you. Something about you looking initially like prey. And even if you are a spider like them, they didn't see you as a spider, right? It's like almost, I'm hearing, if you were in a lion's den amongst lions like yourself, but for some reason you appeared to them as a lamb, and you turned out to be the lion, and turned the, sorry, the camera moving, and turned it, and again, the trap that they set for you wound up being their own demise, right? Because the spider, not only did this insect turn out to be a spider, but then a much larger spider, and then went in swiftly, like very calculated. That's the, very decisively, like no, didn't mince words, no holds bar. I'm saying went in like you seen it crawl on his arachnia. I'm here with his legs, went right over and ate it like cannibalism style, like just in one swoop. It didn't pick at it, it didn't break it apart, it didn't eat it piece by piece. In one full swoop, took it down. I thought something else wanted to. Yeah, I don't know. There's something significant about this card. Yeah, somebody. They caught. They thought they caught you slipping, right? Or maybe they did, right? They lulled you into a slumber. Trust me, manipulation, upholding your autonomy and rejecting attempts at manipulation, critically examining sources, and refusing to be blindly controlled. Look, yeah, you're saying no, because they thought, right. I don't know. Maybe there's a specific routine that you do, a specific way. Now I'm hearing spirit, that you go down a certain a block, or a specific routine that you do every day that made you seem like you was just like, look, it's a grown man sleeping with a teddy bear, right? Unsettled sleep brings about fatigue and reduced alertness. Your dreams hold messages. Let them guide your intuition. Yo, I cannot. This dream is, and it's, I'm hearing a metaphor, but for your dreams. So maybe you're currently having dreams, or you will be having dreams, right? Moving forward, that you need to trust that they're trying to tell you messages that don't just, because initially I wanted to just take it up. I'm watching 61st Street on Netflix, and there's a lot of this stuff going on in there. So, the logical side of me says, well, you're watching stuff like that, and this is just being reflected in your subconscious, right? But the spirit is saying, no, man, there's messages there. Let that guide your intuition. There's something about a situation, a person, place, thing, something being exploitative, right? Trying to manipulate. Don't trust it. Follow your intuition, right? Again, there was something about them seeing you, even if you're masculine, or even a feminine that tends to operate, right? So there's something about work dynamics too, because, usually the masculine energy, whether you're male or female, is more exerted or typically most exerted in work environments, work related environments. I don't know if that's true. I said it's most, I don't know. I'm just saying we can easily see how that would fit, right? That when I go to work at my job, I'm usually exerting and more of masculine energy and action oriented energy. But there's something about yeah, remember I said that if you were the lion, you would seem like you was the lamb, and whoever this other spider is, right, looks like a big shark, like, like it is bigger, and it was the toughest, and it laid out, right, it spun, and to spin a web, right, I don't know the spider land world and exactly how that worked, but I know that's detailed, right, you have to, because no two spider webs, I think, are ever alike, kind of like the fingerprints, right? So I just heard, oh, what a tangled web we weave, right? So it was initially and intentionally created to catch that prey. Now, it's interesting because you would then think, well, the one that came and landed, it landed on the chair, which would represent home, force, stability, right? And then jumped into the web, right? So why would you come from home, comfort, and jump into the web that was supposedly out to get you, right? Or was built to get you. But so that's like a very bold, calculated move. Again, there's something so like, I mean, I don't know who I'm talking to, who this message is, but you a freaking goon, you a beast, you a goblin. I heard, what's a goon to a goblin, right? Because and that takes courage, but not just courage. You outsmarted something and outmaneuvered, and I'm hearing it was guided, right? Hook your own escape plan. I promise you what was set up for you to destroy you. Look, doubts weigh heavy and leap forward seems too far. Crushed by the burdens of reality, seeking solace in the thought of vanishing. Nah, I'm hearing that you escaped, man. I'm telling you, some exploitative situation, whether it was a personal relationship, a familial relationship, a friendship. Because Spirit's been talking about that, right? About analyzing that. Yesterday, it was a very reflective moment in my life where I was asked, those definitive questions to reflect upon. Well, what does relationship mean, Marilyn? What does friendship mean, Marilyn? What does I love you mean, Marilyn? And then after I had to break those down and define them, well, then who in your life would fall in these categories? Do you have people that would fall into those categories that you would feel are healthy and reciprocal? And I came out with I think 5 people total, literally from in all those 3 scenarios, right? And then the day before that, it was really talking about who do you give your love and affection to, and even in relationships, if we're talking about romantic relationships, as a woman of color and as a woman, right? Yeah, because it was about exploitation, but systemic exploitation, how the wage gap and the glass ceiling is still very prevalent and dominant into and at that time 2025, but even entering into 2026. So if I as a woman am already being taxed from that perspective on a systemic basis, and as a woman of color on top of that, then I don't want to be, for me it was like I don't want that double tax, right? I don't want to be taxed systemically, and all the bullshit I got to deal with out there. And then in my personal relationships, whether it's my lover, my sister, my mother, my brother, whoever, or friends, right? And then I just heard this short that I listened to. It was a conversation between oh God, it was James Baldwin and the famous author. Oh God, I can't believe I forgot her name. But she was saying to him, she said to him, I want you to lie to me as a man. If you're my husband, if you're my partner or whatever, when you come home, lie to me. He's like, and James Baldwin was very, because there was, it's something big theme about leadership being about integrity. and moral character and standards and ethics, and standing 10 toes down on that, and accountability for that moving forward, and spirit being very, very, very interested and very serious about those who are not upholding those type of standards. If you're not going to be a leader who has integrity, who is honest, who has character, if you're easily being bought and sold, and you flim and flam, and you clout chase, and you manipulate, and you exploit, you're done. You're done moving forward, right? There is a way, now I'm hearing that scripture, in the Quran, Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, never gives more than you can bear, and always provides a way of escape, right? Those who have been subjugated and exploited and manipulated, without need for it, right? When they were sweet, innocent, being kind and loving, but that was taken for granted in that way. There is being offered a way and escape for them, and there's going to be accountability for those who have done that. And back to the James Baldwin, and oh my God, how can I forget her name? Astaghfirullah. Famous author. I believe she recently passed. It's not Maya Angelou. Oh God. Anyway, she said, and he answered so earnestly, but I can't, like I love that type of man. Yes, I do. Because you could tell he was being honest. Like, no, Mom, I don't want to lie to you like that. No, why would I? Why would I lie to you? But it was so earnest, his response, because it was like, I don't want to lie to you as a man of integrity. I don't want to lie to you as a black man to another black woman. I just don't want to do that to you. I don't want to hurt you like that. I don't, But she was like, no, but you must. Right? You go into the office and you lie to that cracker all day by smiling in his face, but then you come home to me and take out all that frustration and stuff on me. She was proving a point, right? That there's a way that you need to treat me. There's a way that, there's context to this thing. Oh, Spirit, where was I going with that? Because now it sounds so out of context. What did you want me to, there was a point I was trying to prove, or that Spirit wanted to prove from that statement. Okay, it'll come back to me if it needs to come back to me. But there is a way of escape. There's going to be a difference in, or you've escaped it, Yeah, look, yeah. Okay. I'm getting too excited. Let's keep going. So there's a situation that was set up, right? Was supposedly a setup. Look, and it fell over exploitation. That so maybe you're in a job situation where you're feeling you're being exploited, not being appreciated, and literally being, maybe your ideas are being taken from you. Maybe you're being asked to work unrelenting hours, or do work that is out of your work purview, or maybe supervise and train others who, because they hold maybe a degree, you're training them. However, you're being underpaid and not really being paid for or compensated for that. There's the escape hatch has been opened for you. An oath. Unity and diversity, embracing differences to create a harmonious and balanced partnership, divinely guided toward union, right? And it fell over the manipulation. But in this manipulation card is saying you're upholding your autonomy and rejecting attempts at manipulation. You're seeing clearly, right? Trust who? Look at how he's saying that. No, I'm going to trust me. I'm making an oath to myself. Right? Bullseye. I hit the target. She's not sending these flowers to a whole nother bridal party or anything. It almost seems like you're making an oath to yourself that's divinely guided toward union, right? But the union, I'm hearing, can't begin with another if it doesn't begin within self. right? You have to trust you first, right? That means standing on your autonomy and rejecting attempts at manipulation, critically examining sources within yourself and those around you so that you can know who, right? So you can see when this type of exploitation is trying to manipulate you, right? Thank you, Spirit. And again, it will lead into those types of unions now. Very different from these that are telling you, just trust me. How you saying trust me and I'm driving and you trying to take the wheel while it's still in my hands? How can I trust someone? You're irresponsible right there. First of all, why you don't have your seatbelt on? That's number one. Why do you have your hands on the steering wheel when I'm behind the steering wheel? You know, all kinds of red flags are coming up on it. That's some BS. And look at her face and look at his face. So you're driving me and literally trying to pull me into some danger and you smiling about it. Right? Abandonment. Yeah. And that fell over this routine card. And it says, efforts seem invisible and feels undervalued. Experiences genuine hurt and feels deeply betrayed. So, this is what your intuition has been telling you. It's been telling you there's some bullshit. Something ain't right about this. This trash, right? Or that you're being exploited in this relationship. Right now, the heart comes out here, right? Here goes this teddy bear. And now, again, nothing against the masculine or feminine, it's just that they're masculine, right? But maybe he's asking like, he acting like he's this teddy bear sweetheart. And the whole time, no, this trash, right? Rejecting your love or treating it like it's insignificant, like it doesn't have the worth that it deserves, right? Making you feel abandoned, right? Maybe they're not, I was talking about earlier how the relationships, they're supposed to be balanced and based on trust and mutual respect and accountability and reciprocity. And here they are sleeping in the bed, and throwing that love into the trash or treating it like it's trash somehow. Yeah, efforts seem invisible and feel undervalued, right? So maybe you feel like your efforts are undervalued, right? Like like they're treating you. Yeah, look, he's asleep. Like, you're invisible. I don't know. Now I'm hearing, leaving you left on scene. That's how they say it. Their messages on red or left on scene, not responding. Again, not fully, not taking the oath, maybe ghosting, right? Escaped. Right? Not committing, undervaluing, right? So it looked like it went from like, it's a mixture of all. I'm seeing job and romantic. So work and relationship. But it's something significant about the way that spider turned around. I'm telling you, somebody is not going to anticipate it, whether it's a group of people who've done this to you. Peeping maintains a facade and guard your privacy with care. Keeping secrets might protect you for a while, but they won't last. Yet again, and look at where it fell off. This escape and this exploitation. Again, these, whoever's keeping secrets, whoever is sitting there fronting, you know what I mean, trying to be all up in your business, trying to figure out maybe your ideas and what you're doing and your secrets, right? It's telling you guard your privacy with care. I'm here, don't run your mouth. Now I'm hearing the story of Joseph in the coat of many colors, right? Joseph got the coat of many colors from his dad, and then he had a dream, yes. And then what did he do? He went and told everybody else about his dream. So if you are having these dreams that are giving you these messages to guide your intuition, keep them quiet. They're between you and spirit. You're being revealed. You're giving this intuition for yourself. It ain't for you to go start running your mouth. What happened to Joseph? If you don't understand the account of Joseph, you don't have to, right? But I'm going to break it down to you real quick. Really quickly, without, if you want to go research it better for yourself. But Joseph had brothers. I think they were 12 of them all together. Yeah. And he had a dream, and in his dream, he became the leader over all of them. What did he do? He went back and told them, guess what, y'all? And I think he was one of the youngest. I had a dream, and in my dream, I wound up being ruler over all of you. Not only did that create problems for him now, because one, he seemed to have been the favorite of his father. He was the only one given the coat of many colors already, and now you're going to come over here running your mouth bragging about how your dream said you were going to be over all of us. They took that joke out into the desert, digged a ditch and threw him in there, and then killed a animal, took the coat of many colors that he was flashing right off of him, dipped it in that animal's blood, took it back to daddy and told daddy he got murked by the animal, then took him out the ditch and sold him to a caravan of travelers as a slave. His own brothers. So there's something about keeping your mouth shut. Look, Shredder. Shred shit. So now I'm getting a double message. These people who are trying to exploit and manipulating, they're now trying to, because you escaped, now they scared as fuck. They trying to figure you out. They trying to figure out, how did you know what, the secrets, how was you able to keep this secret of you being able to escape the way you did? And now, because they can't see nothing now, because they don't know what's going on, and that flim flam happened so quick, you got out of Dodge just in the nick of time, or you crushed them when they thought they was going to crush you. Now they sitting there trying to shred all kinds of evidence because they scared. I'm hearing somebody scared as F now, trying to shred whether it's text messages, emails, correspondence that they sent to you, if it's at the job, if it's on social media or on your phone. Now they scared. I'm hearing notice that suggest it's time to delete unwanted memories, random thoughts, and intense feelings. Urge you to shred the remnants of the past. Now that's a double message. Now we're going back to a relationship, if it was a relationship, and it could be familial as well as romantic, or a friendship. Maybe it's time to clean house, even on the electronics, right? Maybe you have old pictures, old text messages and stuff. I'm hearing the story of Lot and his wife, right? They told him, we're leaving, you got to go, and when you go, don't look back. If you look back, there's going to be consequences and repercussions. Lot, the children, and her left with the angels. Guess who looked back? The wife. I mean, that's a whole nother story about how patriarchy and women, but we'll leave that for another time. But when she looked back, she turned into a pillar of salt. Now, if you don't want to take that literal, which most suggest you don't, but it is an example of, when I think of it, I'm thinking she became salty, she became bitter, because she kept looking into the past instead of trying to go into the future. She kept looking at what she was leaving behind and the life that she was leaving behind and what she had established there. She couldn't let that go. So she became, in my interpretation, and there's billions of interpretations of this, she became salty and bitter. What we would say salty, right? And that causes bitterness. And when you live in a state of bitterness and always in the past, you can't move towards the future. So there's something about letting go of that past, whether it was at a workplace, whether it was in a relationship, wherever area this happened in, no matter what, the past is the past, and it's time to let it go now, right? Point blank period, you got out. Point blank period, what they thought was your destruction wound up being their own demise. Right? That's what matters. Move forward, I'm hearing, right? Move forward. Bang, warning. Oh, God. Firing a warning shot as a sign of authority and control skips necessary steps to gain an advantage. And that's what happened. That spider, that came in, and I don't know. I can't say it fired a warning shot. because it just swooped in and bam, it grew. But maybe you did. Maybe, I'm hearing, maybe you did fire warning shots. Maybe you did tell these people, yo, stop effing with me. I'm telling y'all, it's good. I just want to come in here and do my 9 to 5 or my 7 to 3, my 3 to 11, whatever it is, the shit. I just want to come in and out, do what I got to do and mind my business. I ain't got time for this little games, right? I got mouths to feed. Yeah, I'm hearing I got people to feed. I got responsibilities. You know what I mean? Now I'm hearing that song. I'm hearing his little, because I think he wears gold teeth, so it makes his mouth. My mouth is tightening up like him. He said, "Yeah, I got real problems. I got people to feed, right? I got children, right? Yeah, it's like you was telling them I got real responsibilities. I'm just coming in here to do my job and mind my business, and you warned them and they wouldn't listen. Maybe you told that lover." Listen, I love you. I'm trying to build a relationship. I'm trying to build this commitment. I ain't got time for these little games. I'm not, look, I'm serious. I'm in this wedding dress and everything. I'm thinking you the one, boo, like bullseye. Like we can make this thing, right? We could be the dream team. We can make this happen, Captain. And they didn't believe you, right? They kept, I don't know. Now I'm seeing who's that Cookie Monster that lives in the trash can? Oscar the Grouch, not Cookie Monster, right? Yeah, there's something about, these, and there you go. I talked about Lot's wife becoming salty and bitterness, and then that Oscar the Grouch. There's something about these people already being so hurt, already being so impacted and affected by their own lives, their own struggles, their own hurts, their own pains, that, I'm hearing for some of them, it's even subconsciously, they don't even know that this is how they're responding. You're triggering them and they're projecting their shit onto you, right? And it's not to excuse them, but it is to understand it, right? We do need to understand the situations and the roots of situation. But I will say that you need to take a step further, because I know for myself, because of my own internal issues and struggles and triggers, that sometimes when I would understand that someone was doing it out of like a real place of trauma and pain, I would then turn around, feel bad for them, and allow them to continue to do the bullshit. But that's not no good for you. How are you going to allow somebody else to F you over because you're feeling bad for them when they're clearly not feeling bad for you? And it's not about, oh, they should feel bad or you should. It's about, listen, it's not healthy, right? And it's not healthy for them. And it's not healthy for you. But I'm hearing survival of the fit. But you can't put your own, compromise your own livelihood, your own survival. Like you said, you got mouths to feed. You got responsibilities to take care of. You have yourself to ensure your own, right? There's something about now they're bringing it back to the animalistic level where, you tried to eat me. So I did have